Looks like we got a ton of Series X details to go over today. Let's get into it. What is going on, guys? Dealer back again with yet another video. A lot going on in the world of Microsoft Xbox Series X. There are a ton of media outlets releasing information on this thing. So basically, we've got little details like the actual size of the internal terabyte hard drive, how much space is usable, all the way up to back compat load times and more on several different titles. All that and more. If you end up liking the video, maybe hit the like button, show a buddy or two, and of course subscribe. Keep it here for all of the latest and greatest. And no, for those asking, I don't have one of these things, but apparently I'm on some kind of list. I don't know. Hey, I don't have the backing of 10 million subscriber corporate YouTube channels to get me this kind of stuff. But you know what? I do have some footage from IGN and others. I can give you the details, explain things as I do. Again, let's get into it. Hey, first things first, Windows Central reporting that there are just over 800 actual usable gigs on the internal SSD of the Series X. As you guys know, these hard drives have an OS and more on them, so you rarely get the full allotment of storage available there. By the way, for those interested in the external SSDs for Series X and Series S, there's some pricing out there, and you might want to go ahead and put on a flak jacket. $220 US. Good luck with that. Now, there are debates out there about what kind of drive this is, and apparently it is a 4.0 SSD drive, and the reason they have encased it in this custom enclosure has a lot to do with sustained speeds, reads and write, constant performance, much like the clocks of the chips themselves. It's kind of odd because it'll do about 2.5 gigs per second uncompressed, compressed about double that. Uncompressed, those are 3.0 speeds, while compressed obviously exceed that. Not sure exactly how much more expensive that is going to cost them to make this drive, seeing as it's not really a full 4.0 native speed, it's only compressed. Odd really when you think about it, but at the end of the day, surely they will be less expensive than perhaps PS5 4.0 SSDs, given that those drives do a higher speed natively. Consumers also benefit from third-party competition on those drives, but they do share demand with the PC audience. Let me know your thoughts on that down below. Now, this next part, we have to give credit to IGN's Ryan McCaffrey and GameSpot for this footage. Those links are down below. I encourage you guys to check out the original sources. Now, there are nitpicks here and there, like the fact that the box doesn't sound differently when you boot it up, but these are hands-on previews of the Xbox Series X. This does include backwards compatibility and load times on some of the generation's biggest games, like Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, of course, all of us know somebody that's died of old age waiting for Red Dead 2 to load. Well, with Series X, it is about 4 times faster without the use of velocity architecture. Remember, Microsoft have confirmed that unless the game is actually patched specifically to leverage velocity, which is the architecture that next-gen Xbox games have to be coded to actually be next-gen and get those SSD benefits with those in-game assets, then you will not actually get the best or proper load times for those titles, meaning the box is capable of loading things faster than what 99% of the games you'll try day one can actually do. Now, here are some of the titles. Again, Red Dead 2, you got Final Fantasy, you got State of Decay. I mean, they went through and they loaded a ton of games, and the consensus really is unvelocity load times are about 4 or so times faster than Xbox One X's internal drive. Now, something I wanted to point out was the discrepancy between two different videos that I found. Control on one video loads in 10 seconds on Series X, which sounds a lot more like what we were hearing before release, whereas Control on Ryan McCaffrey's box loaded in about a minute. Now, my theory is perhaps this is Control Definitive Edition on one side, maybe using velocity, and maybe the other one is the original back compat unpatched version. Let me know if you think that's the case. Why such a massive loading discrepancy here? 10 seconds on one, a minute on the other, both Series X. If one side is Control Definitive Edition patched for the box, maybe velocity is helping there, whereas the other one is the original version of the game not patched. Or maybe it's just a different chunk of the game and it's pretty hefty because it does take a lot longer to load on the other box as well. You're looking at 10 seconds and a minute on one side and a minute and 2 2 minutes on the other, so I'm sure maybe that has something to do with it, but either way, the speed difference is there no matter how you try to cut it. I just thought that was interesting, figured I would point it out. Now, IGN's box was almost inaudible under load with Red Dead Redemption 2. Remember, this box is basically idling, it's coasting along at this point, capped at 30 FPS. Basically, it's even quieter than the Xbox One X while playing this game, though I'm sure the fans will ramp up under full load with 12 teraflops. McCaffrey also did confirm just a few seconds from a boot up with Series X, whereas a cold boot is more around 10 or 12 seconds. Dramatic increases in boot times here. Expect additional snappiness in the OS, all of that extra speed enabled by that SSD. Not to mention the ability to multitask without the system actually getting bogged down. Again, that SSD and 16s into threads means that you just really don't have much holding you back anymore when it comes to the OS. The game DVR apparently records 4K 60 FPS as well at a higher bitrate than Xbox One X. One of the other big features they are talking about today is quick resume, meaning you can switch between a number of titles in about 5 or so seconds. So what the system does is takes your existing game session, freezes it in place in a partition of the SSD. You can then jump from a different freeze state of a different game. It is not running all of these games at the same time, but the speed, the IO throughput of the box is so fast that you don't really have to boot anything up anymore when it comes to this feature. It can freeze these things, stop running the game, and go run a different game. It's actually really neat, and it is a next generation console exclusive feature, meaning once you get used to this, you might find it hard to go back. Competitors are not offering this, which again, hey, is it petty to point that out? Sure. But I've seen people point out Wi-Fi 6 on the PS5, so you know, I don't know, I just figured I'd throw it out there. Basically, guys, long story short, yeah, the box is quiet, it's powerful, it's fast. It enables you to switch between games unlike ever before. We know games are going to look absolutely stunning. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is going to look remarkable on this thing. It does retail for $499, and it is by far the most balanced console of all time. So when you get this thing, you're going to get everything. It is the complete package, including ray tracing, which they're not even demoing. They're not even getting a taste of these things yet, and these reviewers are already pretty satisfied. Patches are quite limited at the moment, though I do think there are several on the store, like Control Ultimate Edition, the next generation optimized Xbox version. But it is just a hands-on review impressions after all, so let me know your thoughts on this down below. The dust is still settling from the Bethesda ZeniMax acquisition, and yes, Microsoft have doubled down on the fact that, hey, don't expect these games anywhere else. Yeah, I wouldn't expect these games to come anywhere else but the Microsoft ecosystem. Much like with Ninja Theory and all of their other purchased developers, they are not saying anything other than we will fulfill current obligations like those deals that Bethesda and ZeniMax have with PlayStation, and everything else is game-by-game basis, meaning we are holding things back. And what are they going to hold back? Are they going to hold back Barbie Horse Simulator 2021, or are they going to hold back Skyrim 5 million? You tell me which one they would hold back. You tell me which one is going to lure people to their ecosystem. You tell me which one may end up making someone buy an Xbox console. It certainly isn't Barbie Puppy Simulator 5 million. Again, let me know your thoughts. The box is dead quiet. It's a freaking rectangle. What can you do about it? It is built first and foremost to dissipate heat. By all accounts, it does that quite effectively without even ramping the fans up, which, by the way, there is only one. It is on the top of the system. Pre-orders were crazy. We know Microsoft wished they would have built more of these things because demand was off the chain, and there's a reason they announced that ZeniMax acquisition a day before pre-orders went live. I think it pushed a lot of people over the fence. Let me know if you ended up getting a Series X or Series S pre-order, or even a PS5 pre-order. I, after all, am getting both, though I do prefer the Xbox ecosystem. PC guys, let me know if you got some new gaffer tape or some kind of new Ethernet gigabit antenna or something you guys like. And of course, everyone, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Maybe show somebody this video, really would help. Retweet, subscribe, all that good stuff. Bell icon. Patrons, thank you so much for what you do. Link down below if you want to become one. Channel members, hit the join button if you want to become a channel member. And again, I will have more videos coming very soon. Stay tuned for RDX Podcast tomorrow, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Follow me on Xbox Live, II_dealer II, and Twitter, dealer_gaming. Again, you guys rock. Check out the sources down below. I'm out.